All eyes right now are, of course, on the Resident Evil 2 remake, as they should be. It looks incredible. And it seems like Capcom has really hit a home run here with the Resident Evil 2 remake. But what about a Resident Evil 3 remake?
Resident Evil 3.
So we look at the sales here for Resident Evil 3 because I think this is a very telling sign on whether or not there is going to be, a remake down the road for Resident Evil 3. As you can see, it's not the highest selling Resident Evil game of all time, but with that said, it did sell better than Code Veronica, at least according to this chart here. So there is some hope. Another thing I found interesting is that I went on Twitter and I saw this post from a Capcom dev, and the Capcom dev basically said like, hey look, are you a Dino Crisis fan? If there are enough people that would like to see a Dino Crisis remake, we may very well do it. You know what this tells me? This tells me that Capcom is listening. And this tells me that this, folks, is a prime opportunity. Folks, if you really want to truly honestly see a Resident Evil 3 remake, now is the time to let Capcom know. Obviously, it's not a guaranteed thing just because everyone kind of comes together. Us Resident Evil 3 fans, we come together. We say, hey, look, Capcom, we want to see Resident Evil 3 get the Resident Evil 2 remake treatment. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. But at the same time, it's still worthwhile because it does plant that idea in Capcom's head that, hey, look, we want a Resident Evil 3 remake. You know what I mean? I mean, after all, that's how the Resident Evil 2 remake came about. A lot of fans came together for years and years and years and said, hey, look, Capcom, we want this thing to get remade. And it happened. Now, of course, a lot of it is dependent on Resident Evil 2. If the Resident Evil 2 remake comes out and it's a major success, then I think the chances are higher than ever for a Resident Evil 3 remake. But if Resident Evil 2 bombs, then the chances of a Resident Evil 3 remake are down the drain. But now that I think about it, maybe they're going to kind of integrate into some capacity Resident Evil 3 with the Resident Evil 2 remake. I know that sounds a little crazy, but maybe there's going to be some Easter eggs or cameos, maybe a Nemesis cameo in Resident Evil 2. Maybe you hear Nemesis off in the background as you're, kind of roaming around Raccoon City and you go, that would be really crazy. Or maybe they have some DLC planned. Maybe they know there's Resident Evil 3 fans out there, but maybe they don't think it's a worthwhile investment to do a full-blown remake of Resident Evil 3. So instead, we get some Resident Evil 2 remake DLC for Resident Evil 3, including Jill Valentine and, of course, Nemesis. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Obviously, time will tell, but hey, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more Resident Evil coverage. And I want to thank all of you for watching this video. Seriously, it means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. And, well, that's it. Take care.